If you think this video was interesting after you've watched it, then subscribe. In 1998, Gloria Williams stole newborn Kamiyah Mobley from a Jacksonville, Florida hospital and raised her under the name Alexis Manigo. Then Kamiyah learned the truth 16 years later. Alexis Manigo led a normal life. Growing up in Walterboro, South Carolina, Alexis went to school, attended church, and spent time with her mother, Gloria Williams. But when she tried to get a social security number, she learned that her life was a lie. Gloria had abducted her as a baby, and her real name was Kamiyah Mobley. For 16 years, her biological parents, Shanara Mobley and Craig Aiken, had hoped for her safe return. Though Kamiyah declined Gloria's offer to turn herself in to law enforcement, the truth eventually came out. But the relationship between Kamiyah and her kidnapper and her birth parents is anything but simple today. Here is their story. Just a few hours after Kamiyah's birth, a woman wearing scrubs walked into room 328 at the University Medical Center where Shanara and her daughter were resting. Her name was Gloria Williams, and though she presented herself as a nurse, the truth was much more complicated. Gloria had left her job at a Charleston nursing home that afternoon in a fog of despair. She was in an abusive relationship, she'd recently lost custody of her 2 sons, and worst of all, she'd suffered from a miscarriage that she kept from her loved ones. Struggling with postpartum depression, Gloria didn't go home to South Carolina, but instead she drove for 4 hours to Florida's University Medical Center. For a while, she stood and looked at the babies in the nursery. Then she walked into Shanara's room and found her with her infant daughter. For hours, the 2 women talked. Presenting herself as a hospital nurse, Gloria offered Shanara comfort and support and even fetched her a new hospital gown. But around 3 p.m., she told 16-year-old Shanara that she had to take the baby out of the room to check her temperature. Instead, Gloria put Kamiyah in a bag, walked to her car, and drove home to South Carolina. She told her family that she'd gone into labor at work and given birth to a daughter. Meanwhile, back in Florida, 16-year-old Shanara Mobley screamed frantically for her missing baby. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office followed over 2,000 leads during the next 2.5 years in hopes of bringing Kamiyah Mobley home. But no one would know what happened to her for 18 years. As Shanara Mobley struggled to put her life back together following Kamiyah's kidnapping, everything in Gloria Williams' life seemed to fall into place. She left her abusive relationship, regained custody of her sons, remarried, and raised Kamiyah as her own daughter, though now renamed Alexis Manigo. Growing up in Walterboro, South Carolina, Kamiyah had a normal, happy life. She went to school, attended church, hung out with her brothers, and invited friends to her house, which Gloria made warm and welcoming. "She was very open to all my friends I brought through that door," Kamiyah later said. "She was one of those mothers. She was like open to sleepovers, open to company, always smiling, always upbeat, up-tempo about everything, very hardworking. Very hardworking." However, when Kamiyah was 16, she discovered that her mother had a dark secret. Kamiyah found out that she didn't have a social security number, which she needed to get a job and drive a car. To her shock, her mother confessed that she'd abducted her as a baby. Though Gloria offered to turn herself in, Kamiyah raised her concern. She didn't want to lose her mother. But in January 2017, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received 2 tips about Gloria Williams. They showed up in Walterboro, conducted DNA tests, and confirmed the secret that Gloria had tried to hide. Alexis Manigo was really Kamiyah Mobley. Back in Florida, Shanara was ecstatic. Though she'd since had more children, she'd never forgotten about her firstborn baby. Every year on Kamiyah's birthday, Shanara had started a tradition of buying a cake and putting it in the freezer, just in case Kamiyah showed up. "It was one of the happiest days of my life," Shanara told USA Today after learning about Mobley's recovery and Gloria Williams' arrest. But it wasn't exactly the happy reunion she'd always imagined. Kamiyah, after all, saw Gloria Williams as her mother. Shortly after police tracked Kamiyah down, she met her biological parents, Shanara and Craig Aiken, for the first time.
First meeting was beautiful. It was wonderful. Couldn't have gone any better. She was glad to meet us,
Craig said, as reported by The Independent.
It was a feeling that you just can't explain. It's hard to put in words right now. It's hard to deal with this here right now.
But though Shanara and Craig had gained their daughter back, Kamiyah had lost the woman that she saw as her mother. And Gloria Williams' trial revealed the tension and deep pain that existed across the two families. In February 2018, Gloria pled guilty to kidnapping and interfering with state custody. At trial, 19-year-old Mobley quietly listened as both Gloria and Shanara described the effect that the kidnapping had on their lives. At the trial, Shanara described her elation at giving birth and deep grief of having her baby stolen away from her. According to the Post and Courier, she screamed at Gloria to leave her family alone at one point and told the judge she wanted the death penalty for her daughter's kidnapper.
"I'm still hurting,"
Shanara said.
"I'm your mother, Kamiyah. I'm your mother."
Gloria, during trial, expressed regret for what she'd done.
"I know I wronged you, and I'm so sorry,"
she told Shanara and Craig, insisting that she hadn't gone to the hospital meaning to kidnap a baby.
So many days, so many days, so many days. I just wanted to pick that child up and say, "Come on, let's get in this car and go." I just couldn't. When I left Jacksonville, I didn't look back. I didn't know what you went through.
In the end, the judge found Gloria guilty and sentenced her to 18 years in prison. But her imprisonment didn't heal Shanara's wounds. According to USA Today, Kamiyah's continued loyalty to Gloria caused tension with her birth mother, who even blocked Kamiyah's number at one point.
"As long as she can call her and go see Gloria, that's her mama,"
Shanara told USA Today in 2018, even saying that she wished Kamiyah had never been found.
"I'm about to start calling her Alexis so I won't be hurt. I'm serious. I'm serious. I have to start doing things where I don't hurt no more."
Indeed, Kamiyah Mobley has stuck by Gloria's side. In March of 2022, she even wrote a letter asking for her early release.
"I would like to make it very clear that she is my mother,"
Kamiyah wrote.
"She raised me and not only provided for my needs, but she loved me unconditionally. I am fully aware of how our lives came to be, what they are, and how my mom came to be my mom."
Kamiyah added,
"However, at the end of the day, I love my mother and I wholeheartedly support her. I ask for the court's grace and mercy as I need my mother home."
To date, Gloria Williams remains in prison. Her plea for an early release was denied by a judge. And though Kamiyah and her birth mother haven't made any recent news, they do appear to have slowly reconciled over the years. This case has been
solved.
Check in the description for a link to the movie that was made.